Gaming news. Yes, let's
Yeah,
do.
we covered Metro. Do you want to take whatever next one?
Shall we start with where is the one story? Oh, I think let's start with this one because I think it's a pretty big deal.
What a great header. Love it.
Business is booming for Microsoft. Total gaming revenue up by 50%. I mean, look at
Mm,
this image. But yeah, this is a pretty big deal. So I suppose just for context, if you put Sony and Microsoft side by side, like the PlayStation has been killing Xbox. Like, let's be honest, the PS4 destroyed the Xbox One.
mm,
But going to the new generation with the Xbox Series X and S and Game Pass, Microsoft have honestly been doing all the right things, like in my opinion. They've really been ticking all the boxes and they're setting themselves up for a very successful, you know, generation of consoles.
hmm
And like I know Corona definitely helped. Like there's no beating around the bush on that. But just the fact that they've posted these huge like positive results, I'm like, damn, I think that's a really good sign of things to come. So Microsoft reported gaming revenue of 3.5 billion for the quarter ending March 31st, 2021, up 50% year on year. And then
From
Xbox,
10 billion to 15 billion year on
which
year. Crazy.
is yeah, um, then Xbox content and services revenue up 34% year on year, driven by strong
That's
software
huge.
sales and Game Pass growth.
Yeah.
So they didn't share any Game Pass numbers, but I think the last two significant figures we saw, I think initially it was like, hey, we've got 15 million active subscribers.
hmm
And then a few months later, it was like, hey, we've got 18 million active subscribers. So
It's massive.
it's insane. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why they're focusing on that service so much.
Mm,
I mean, they're very Microsoft is very clever by just stating revenue and not straight profit because I do
mm,
wonder what the profits on something like Game Pass is right now.
yeah.
I suspect if it even is there, that it's relatively small
I think it's
because this is
small.
it's a long-term bet, and long-term
Mm,
bets take a while to become profitable. That's just how business works.
yeah.
Um, so the hardware growth is expected because new consoles, so obviously their
Hmm.
hardware is going to be going up. But I think the 50% in gaming revenues is big. Like that's the sort of boost you would want from a new console launch. And if it wasn't that big, then you'd start worrying. I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, it was aided by Corona and it was aided by new consoles, but you know Microsoft didn't have momentum going into this gen, so the fact that they've jumped 50% is great.
It's insane. But not to be discounted from any race, not that this is a race that we're talking about, but Sony has sold 7.8 million PS5 consoles, which in
A lot.
itself is a shit ton of consoles. I mean, the console's been out what, like 6 months, I'd
It's
say. It's like
the
five
the
to
thing
six
that
months.
blows me away is that despite the supply chain issues that both consoles are experiencing,
Hmm.
the PS5 is still managing to outsell the PS4,
Yeah,
which blows my mind.
and
Like,
PS4 like hugely successful
yeah,
console. But I mean they also posted other other numbers, if I'm not mistaken. So the number of PlayStation Plus subscribers is now 47.6 million, a
Jesus,
14% increase year on
that's
year.
huge as well. Like, don't
Yeah,
discount that.
and
Yeah,
then
and PlayStation's gaming revenue was much higher than Microsoft's. It was 25 billion
yeah, which is
year on
insane.
year. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so
I mean,
look,
to me, that makes sense.
yeah,
If you have a console, especially year on year, if you're looking at the what is it like 8 7 months
yeah,
of last year that had no new consoles, like they had almost 3 times more consoles than Microsoft out in the wild. So of course their gaming revenue is going to be bigger.
yeah,
Like
no, for sure.
that's just mathematics. Like
Well, I think what's positive to take away from this is that just the gaming companies, the hardware peeps are doing well, which
mhm.
always just, bodes well for the future of gaming, I'd say.
Yeah, I think both consoles are doing very very well, and both have a good start to this gen. So
mm,
that's always good. Yeah,
yeah.
always happy to see that.
Well, what should we bounce to next?
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and
Ratchet
Clank.
and
So,
Clank Rift Apart. So we got a state of play on Thursday, which showed off like 16 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, this video
Uh,
is 16 minutes.
and so, I mean, early in the week, we finally got a name for this new Lombax in this new dimension. She's called Rivet, which I think is quite funny
Super
because
super good name.
ratchets and rivets, very fun. Um, so yeah, I mean, this game looks visually just
It's
unbelievable.
insane.
Just
Yeah, we'll get
seriously
to gameplay in
crazy.
a second, but so as someone who has not played a Ratchet and Clank, I hear you. It's actual sacrilege. I'm going
Yeah,
to make the effort to play the. Is it 2015 2016 remake
six.
of
Yeah.
2016 remake of the first one, which
Hmm.
has recently received a PS5 performance patch. So
It
very
runs so
much
smooth.
looking forward to playing that. I mean, I might start that this weekend. I don't know. We'll see.
It's
We'll
really
see.
good. I also restarted it because I just like that game a lot. I played a bunch of them on PS2, but the nice thing about the series is it's relatively standalone.
Mm,
Like the character, you see characters that come and go in the entries, and it's nice to have some context for them, especially like the bad guy in this one, Doctor Nefarious, is a kind of like a mainstay bad guy in the series.
oh,
But
cool.
they feel like, like he's there, he's a bad guy. The plot of each game is standalone. It
Yeah.
doesn't require you to know the events of a previous one. So
It
that's pretty
it's a
good.
bit like Crash Bandicoot in that sense.
Yes.
I feel,
Yes,
yeah.
like Cortex is always a bad guy, but you don't need to
Yeah.
know what happened in Crash 2 to figure out what's going on in Crash 3,
Yeah.
sort of.
I mean, just sorry, if you're watching on YouTube, just look at this.
Yeah, it's
It's
the amount of
staggering.
busyness in each of the maps is kind of staggering to me.
Yeah.
It's really mind-blowing. It looks beautiful. I can't tell from because the video was uploaded to YouTube at 30 frames, but so I can't tell if
Yeah,
the gameplay
if
is
it's
30 or
60
60.
FPS, yeah.
I do know the remake launched at 30, so
Mm.
it's not out of
Uh,
the question.
yeah, I was just gonna say that it would be nice to have it at 60, but looking at the amounts of detail and just busyness on the screen, I
Mm.
don't know if they'll manage to achieve that.
And all the ray tracing that's happening as
Sure.
well. So
Yeah, because
but
look at this now. We're still getting to the big
yeah, yeah,
open
it's
area. My
unbelievable.
goodness.
It's really unbelievable. Um, but yeah, I mean, the remake when it launched was at 30, but it was solid 30, so it felt great.
Mhm.
Um, I had no issues then playing it on PS4. It's just now playing it on PS5. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a lot
It feels
smoother.
good.
So
Yeah.
this feels nice. But yeah, this game looks, I mean, visually just looks cool, and it's got some cool new features. I think the parkour features that it has, like Ratchet can wall run now, and he gets like a dash. It very much reminded me of Sunset Overdrive,
Mm.
Sunset Overdrive walks, so Ratchet could fly, stuff like that.
But it's actually, I was listening to the Kind of Funny podcast, and I think it was Blessing who said that what was so he's also like replaying the original remake, whatever. He's saying what he felt is missing from that game is the fact that you literally are just jumping around to avoid enemy fire, and it just feels like the modern twist is just having a dash, and this
Mm.
game has a dash, which I think will just make it feel that much better.
Yeah, I definitely think so because in the older games, he's right. You only got like a jump. What you could do was like lock on an enemy and do a strafe jump, so like a
Mm,
sideways jump, which felt really cool. But yeah, you didn't have a dash, and I think the stuff that they've added here just modernized the formula a little bit,
yeah,
um, which is great. I like a lot of the new weapons. Part of the best thing about a new Ratchet game is just your weapons are so ridiculous and
yeah.
outlandish, but the new ones they always give you new ways to dispatch enemies, and I love it. So, yeah, this game
So
looks
there you
good.
go.
It's not delayed. It's out June 11th still, so hyped.
Yeah,
Super
I
stoked
think
for this.
this, like we said, Returnal's the first big proper exclusive. I think this is the first triple A
Mhm.
proper exclusive. So,
This is
I
gonna be
mean,
a big deal.
not
Yeah.
not not that we've had Miles Morales and Demon Souls that, but like
They're different,
Demon
yeah.
Souls is a remake. Miles Morales is basically a standalone slash
Mm.
expansion for an existing game.
And
So
both of them didn't, like, make full use of the,
no,
stuff like the controller and stuff like that, so, yeah, I'm very excited for this game. I love Ratchet& and Clank games, so, I have that going for me, but I think this one just looks really good as well, so very
it's a
excited.
good time.
Uh,
Um,
what next?
so we just fly through PS Plus games for May.
Hmm.
which I think PS has had such a strong lineup the last few months. Now it feels a bit lukewarm to get Wreckfest. I look, I don't know what this game is, but I can't say that it gets me excited. That's fine.
Wreckfest is actually pretty good. It's like
Is it
a
good?
racer that has like a very detailed damage modeling in
Oh,
it.
nice.
I know a lot of people really enjoy it, so I'm keen to give it a shot now that it's, I guess, free. So yeah.
It just feels weird putting this out on PS Plus like 2 months after Destruction All Stars, which is
Yeah, that game's really fallen off the planet, eh?
kind
Damn.
of, yeah. I mean, look, obviously different games, but very similar in vibe.
I
So,
can't tell you the last time I think I uninstalled it. It just
my
never grabbed
goodness.
me. So yeah.
Pretty cool inclusion, Battlefield 5, if you've missed on the
Mm.
game. So just for context, Wreckfest is the, PS5 game, and then the PS4 games, Battlefield 5 and Stranded Deep, which I can't say I've heard of.
No, I've also never heard of that, but I'm always
Or maybe I have. This might be one of those survival games where you're literally on a raft. Like, I don't know.
that sounds pretty cool. I could get
I
with that.
could be
Yeah.
wrong, or maybe it's just a story game.
Battlefield 5 is like, I mean, if you were big into Battlefield, you would have played it already because like the multiplayer evolves over time. And I just, I don't think the single player of Battlefield 5 is good. So yeah, whatever. It is a thing. Like download it, play the single player stories. If you dig them, you dig them. If you don't,
Yeah,
well, oh
sorry for
well.
you. Yeah.
Um,
What is next?
so
Um,
just quickly, seems like Outer Wilds, not the Obsidian game,
yes.
the DLC, the indie game that I really, really, really loved from
I
2019.
still need to play this.
Oh, it's so good, so good. Seems like it might be getting DLC. The Steam database got a new entry which has a like new game or a new package for it. What's it called? I think you have it on the article there. It's called like Outer Wild colon something. And then on top of it, like Annapurna, the publishers, and Mobius
They
Digital Games, who are the
actually
developers,
replied.
they
Yeah.
replied with like eye emojis. So seems like this is
Echoes
a
of the
real
Eye
thing.
is the
What's it
name
called? Echoes?
of the Eye, I think.
Okay. I'm curious because like Outer Wilds is a fairly self-contained thing. Like when it's
So
done, it's
what's
done. There's no
yes,
real threads. So
what's the expansion here?
yeah,
Hmm.
curious how they put something in there. Maybe they just add something to the universe that can now be explored on the loops that you play. So
Yeah. Don't know.
it's cool. It's very cool. Another
Don't
sort
know.
of again weird game, which is like a time loop sort of thing. Not a roguelike though. It's more like a almost like a exploration game through multiple loops. Very interesting structure. Really great game.
My goodness.
Really good.
I think worth pointing out as well, Activision, Bandai Namco, and Sega have appeared on the E3 2021 company list.
Mm.
And this, I don't know if we covered it last week, but there were others confirmed last week as well, the week before. It's like,
Mm.
it's basically everyone's there, which
Activision is
still,
the surprise though, because they've been skipping out for years now.
but this really baffles me because just the conversations that you and I have had of like, in this day and age, it's very easy to just steal headlines by having your own online
Event, yeah.
thing. And it's not like, I don't know, Activision, Bandai Namco, and Sega are all people that have, I believe, the resources to literally just host a live stream with a Nintendo Direct style, like, here's a whole lot of
Mm.
trailers, you know? But I don't know. It's
The weird thing to me is that there's reports that the Call of Duty for this year will only be revealed later in the year, sort of like how Cold War was only officially revealed in like August, I think, last year. So, like, what does Activision show at E3?
I mean, Activision do other stuff.
Like what?
Warcraft 4. I don't know.
I
I have no
I
idea.
fucking have no idea what they'd show at this thing. Like
Yeah, likewise.
normally E3 is for them to show off like a campaign level from Call of Duty or something like that. So I don't fucking know what they show off there. So that's curious. Actually this happened yesterday, but Konami were initially confirmed to come to E3 and now they aren't.
No.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, look, whatever happens, I'm still grateful that, well, that E3 is this week of just hype. I'm
Mm.
very keen
I'm
to
glad that
see.
that's back. Yeah.
Yeah, very keen to see what comes out of those few days. It's always nice to just look forward to just release after reveal after teaser after whatever. So
It's always fun.
and going, especially now going into like we're not even a year into the next gen of console, so to see what is planned
Mm,
is very
mm.
exciting.
Yeah, because like the slate of releases after like June, July dries up pretty quickly. So
Mm,
I'm keen to see what the fall is going to be like. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like will Sony? I mean, Sony's not going to be at E3, but I assume they'll do a state of play around that time. Like,
yeah,
is Horizon Forbidden West still coming this year? Like they keep saying it is.
yeah.
I
Who
don't think so.
knows?
Like we haven't even seen the game in motion, but like maybe they come out
Who
and like,
knows?
hey, check this shit out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um, I think you can maybe expand on this more. Microsoft will slash its own store cuts on PC games sales.
Yeah, so okay, so this is a weird one. So basically, they've confirmed now that games that come out on the Microsoft Store, um, or I assume the Xbox, like if you buy a game for Windows from the Xbox Store or the Game Pass app, if you don't have Game Pass, I think this applies to there as well. But basically, the cut they take from developers is now in line with Epic. Instead of a 70-30 split,
Yeah.
Microsoft is only taking 12%. So 88% goes to the developer. Steam does this as well, but only for really big developers. Like you have to reach a certain sales threshold to get better return rates, which makes no sense to me. Um, but yeah, so this is them just coming in line with Epic on that. But what is confusing to me is that there are rumors, pretty strong reporting that Microsoft's store on Windows is going to get a very big revamp later this year with a big Windows update.
Hmm.
And as part of that update, it's going to allow developers to list programs, games, apps, whatever, directly from their own content delivery network or CDN.
All right.
So bypassing Microsoft entirely. So all the profits will go to
To
them.
them.
So like,
Interesting.
why does this matter then? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Don't know.
I know.
Don't know. But yeah, either way, it's cool because like it just means devs that are on, Game Pass or the Microsoft Store, and there are a lot of them, like, yeah, they have their games on Steam probably, and they have their games on Epic as well. But if they have them on Microsoft, they are getting a better cut now, so that's cool.
Mm. So yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Last few pieces of news. There's a rumor that Mortal Kombat developer NetherRealm are working on a Marvel fighting game, which, let's be honest, that would be
I'd
awesome.
be hyped. Yeah.
I mean,
I
we've got Marvel versus Capcom, right? But how nice would it be to have
yeah,
a Mortal Kombat slash Injustice style
that's
game?
the thing. I want a Marvel characters in a fighting game that's actually good.
Oh,
So, I don't know how the logistics of this would work because NetherRealm is owned by Warner Brothers, who own DC. So, like, how does that
I
conversation
don't
work?
know. I have no
Um,
idea.
fuck, imagine a timeline where you get a Marvel vs DC game.
Maybe that's the game. Who knows?
I'd be so
That'd be
intrigued.
awesome. Get Batman to fight Iron Man. Billionaire on billionaire.
Listen. I know a lot of people. They fall on either side of like, do they like NetherRealm fighting games or do they like Capcom ones? Like Street Fighter, because they
Mm,
are fundamentally different types of
yeah,
games. But from a casual perspective, I like NetherRealm's games because I can wrap my head around them.
they feel way more accessible.
Way more accessible. And I find, especially lately, the past few Mortal Kombat games have had great story modes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
The stories have been an
Same
absolute
with
blast to play
Injustice.
through. Mm,
Yeah, so if we get Injustice 1 and 2 are great DC stories. So if we get the same treatment there for like a Marvel story, fucking A, that'd be
count
great.
me in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it is a rumor,
So
but
yeah,
it is kind of strange that NetherRealm hasn't said what they're working on because they usually work on like a 2-year cycle.
yeah,
But that got broken this year, COVID probably. So, but yeah, curious to see if they announce something during E3. So, yeah.
yeah. Last two pieces of news. Apex Legends. I think the new season comes with new PvP arena content, which is pretty cool. I think
It's a
it's
3v3 mode.
3v3,
Yeah.
yeah. Which I look, I haven't played Apex for a long time, but this is, I think, the closest tie-in we have to Titanfall from
Mm,
what I understand.
Yeah, there's a new
And
character who's a pilot from
yeah,
Titanfall.
I think name is Valkyrie. Yep, incoming
Mm.
player Valkyrie. And yeah, it's just cool that this game seems to be going from strength to strength. And oh, why is my sound on? Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. When last did you play Apex?
That was a while ago. I just, I don't have the time to commit to competitive shooters where I feel like I'm actually, good enough to garner some enjoyment from it. So
Yeah,
it's
I
it's just that thing.
I'd be keen to try this 3v3 mode though.
Yeah, the 3v3 looks like a lot of fun. And to be honest, if I was going to get back into a shooter, it would
This
definitely
this is
be
the one.
Apex.
Yeah.
Apex, I mean, a lot of people are still playing Apex. The
Mm,
fact that it made the dent that it did, because you had Call of Duty, you had PUBG.
mm.
It's not easy. You only have to look at Ubisoft's, what was it called? Hyperscape,
Hyperscape. Yeah, is that
to
still
show
being
you.
played? I
Yeah,
don't know.
like, it's hard. Like, you can't just throw money at it and expect it to be good. So, yeah, Apex and Warzone seem to be, and, obviously Fortnite seem to be the trio that are going strong.
Mm,
So yeah, it's cool. That
yeah,
is cool.
I still think Apex is my favorite battle royale out of
I think it's got the most fun
all of
gameplay.
them.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Yeah. Respawn
And then
is a good shooter.
last piece of news: surprise update for Super Mario Party that you play
Little-
online.
Like almost 2 years after it launched.
Nice.
First update it's ever got. So now you
But
can play Mario Party online.
how is this not a thing from launch
At launch.
anyway?
I know. It's and why now? Like I just don't like I wish I
I don't know.
knew the thought process
Yeah,
that Nintendo goes through, like, on what gets, what
greenlit.
gets, updates. Like, I just don't understand.
I don't know. But yeah, that
Yeah.
is all the news. That's it for this week, I guess.